Hello, everybody. It's David Frei. I'm here with Vicki Abbott, who for now is the queen of the American Heart Association's Heart Classic International Virtual Dog Show. She's judging Best in Show, and that'll be great fun. What a great assignment. You only get to judge 7 dogs, though, right? Are you judging some breeds?
I am judging some breeds as well, yes. I'm very honored to be asked to judge Best in Show for this fantastic new experience.
I think it's totally appropriate for you, from being a great longtime Dallas area family and having your husband Larry and your daughter Tara, who are very involved in the sport too. Who better than you to judge a show coming out of Dallas, Texas?
Well, thank you very much. Yes, the Lone Star State Classic is very happy to help in sponsoring this great event. And it's just really so fun and an all-new adventure for everybody in the dog show world.
It really is. I think all the people I've talked to about it, all the people we've interviewed, the judges, everybody's very excited about it. We all kind of agree on one thing. We don't want to get to be too good at putting on virtual dog shows because we want to get back in the ring and do the real thing. So tell me how that plays into what you're about to step off here into this journey.
Well, I do think it's just a real fun experience for everyone who's been sitting at home with their show dogs for so long. I mean, the dogs need to get back into the experience of being in a ring. And in preparation for that, it would be a great idea to video your dog and actually be able to change that video if you would like, so the judge can not see the things that might accidentally happen in the real dog show ring. And it also gives you an opportunity to look at a video of your dog and make some preparation for what you would do differently when you show that dog finally in the ring again, which we hope is sooner than later.
I think that's great. Tara is creating a how-to video, and to help people in the ring. You can look at it a couple of different ways, I suppose. You say, I'm just going to present my dog on the video as I would present them in the ring.
Absolutely.
Well, you have the opportunity, though, to edit. If your dog takes a bad step or if it doesn't land right or whatever, right, you've got a chance to go back and fix that. Are you going to notice those things, do you think?
I don't think so. I think what we're looking for is the things that we're looking for as a judge. As far as the standard is concerned, we're looking for the different ideas that make up that total dog and give you breed type as well as movement, as well as coat. There's so many different things that we look for. I don't believe we're going to notice any glitches or anything like that. We're actually going to be looking for those specific things in that breed that the standard calls for. And those are the things that you'll be presenting to us in a video.
If somebody brings you a video that looks like it's been Hollywood produced or something, is that going to sway your judgment?
No, it's not, because actually in the dog show ring, and not virtually, you will get different presentations of different dogs. And it's, for instance, in my original breed, which is Maltese, there are some people that actually can groom a lot better than others, but you're looking for what's underneath that hair as well as the grooming. So you're not judging the grooming, you're not judging the perfection of the video, you're actually judging the parts of that dog that make up what that dog should be.
Well, let's talk about that. You showed the top winning Maltese of all time.
Yeah.
Henry, who had coat that was dragging on the ground for quite a ways. And I always laugh because of course, my original breed was Afghan hounds. And we used to say, you can carve a great dog out of a pile of hair if you're a really talented groomer. Yes. You're not going to be able to put your hands on any of these dogs and really see what's under it. How are you going to deal with that?
Well, I think it's up to the individual exhibitor, and if you'll watch Tara's tips and tricks for putting together a video, she shows in a long-coated breed where you would put your hands to show the judge, for instance, where the chest is and where the legs are. And when you go around to the back of the dog, she will show you how to show where the hocks actually are on that dog. You can run your hand over the top line of a dog to show how nice and level that would be, which is required in a Maltese, or show where the tail set is, where the tail meets the back where it's supposed to. So there are places you can put your hands on your dog if it's coated that can actually even show the flow of the coat. Maltese is supposed to have silky hair. So if you were to lift that coat and drop it in a certain way, you could show the judge how silky that coat is. So there are different things that you can do if you know your own breed, which you will do, to show the dog if it's got hair, where the places are on the dog, for instance, the neck, or anything else that you need to show where that is on the dog. So just make an effort when you do make your video, if your dog is coated, to show those places to the judge on the dog.
I think it's a great illustration of knowing your dog that you're showing, knowing what the strong points are, knowing what the breed traits are that really are important in that particular dog and in that breed.
Yes, and there are so many elements of breed type that you really need to think about when you're showing your dog to the judge. For instance, silhouette is a big important part of breed type. So show the judge what your dog looks like from the side, a silhouette. I should know a Labrador Retriever from a Golden Retriever, from a different other dog. I mean, if I'm judging best in show, I should pretty much know what all the silhouettes of those dogs look like, or are supposed to look like, based on the American Kennel Club standard. And then there's basically your head and expression. Make sure you show the front of that dog's head and the side of that dog's head, so the judge can see the eyes, see the expression on that dog. That lends a lot to knowing what the breed's character is, which is another good important part of breed type. And then the only thing that you really can't tell is the coat texture. So I'm looking at virtual dog show judging is pretty much exactly what you're doing in a regular dog show ring, except that you will not be able to feel that coat or necessarily feel where those shoulders are. But if you can illustrate that on the video, that'll even give the judge that much more to go by. So movement's a big important part of a lot of breed type. So move your dog from the side, move it up and back, move it in a circle so the judge can see that movement on that dog, which is very, very important in a lot of different breeds.
It sounds to me, because I haven't seen a virtual dog show yet, but I know if I've been to enough of them, I have an idea. But it sounds to me like the handler is going to be more involved in actually showing the dog, whereas the judge can go up and look in the mouth and touch the dog and find all those things. Now we're leaving it up to the handler to do that. Yes,
very much so, and it is a big bit different in that respect, because you will see the handler do more. The handler will have to show the bite. Although at dog shows now, we a lot of times request that the handler show the bite to us. So again, you should know your breed, know what the standard calls for, either show just the front if it only calls for the bite, show the sides if it calls for dentition on the breed, open the mouth if it like for a Doberman, if it calls for that, and do whatever you would normally do in the breed ring, and that'll be a perfect example for the judge.
I think that's great. I always like to say the best handlers are invisible. They're not really going to have that opportunity to be invisible in a virtual dog show.
Right, and not so much, but again, if you make a mistake, you can always go back and edit it.
That's true. That's true. I do that all the time.
Yes,
I got airbrush and makeup, and hairspray. I can do.
Well, I don't think you're going to be able to hide faults as much as you would if you airbrush, though.
Not that I have any faults, of course. I'm talking about myself now, not my dog.
Oh, yourself. Well, I personally like the airbrushing on myself as well.
Okay, that's good. Well, I love the idea of the how-to video called Tara's Tips and Tricks.
Yes.
I'm going to run out and watch that and buy it and see exactly what I've been doing wrong all these years, I'm sure.
Oh, no, I'm sure you haven't. And I'm sure most of the people that are entering a dog show will either be experienced at doing that themselves, or they can look up how to do that with Tara's Tips and Tricks. So it's just a good example. It's not hard. And like I said, it's like if you want to change something, you can change it. But most people that have already been at a dog show and been in the ring with their dogs will know how to do that. We hope there will be people that'll enter that are not used to showing their own dogs and maybe get some experience doing that, so that would
be
great.
Fun, because you're not just getting 2 minutes and gone. You're going to be able to work, as long as it takes you to produce a video that you're proud of and that you want to put in there. So,
well, the other thing is the American Kennel Club dog shows are sports for families. And I think this is a really great time to get your family involved in helping you learn to put on a video so that you can enter the virtual dog show, because someone has to video it and someone probably has to get the dog's attention. So you get the whole family involved, because maybe dad is taking the video and maybe the kids are over there with the bait, and helping the dog get its attention where it's supposed to be. So you can include everybody in helping to get this video done.
That's great. I always laugh because the greatest photographers and the video shooters now, they all have, everybody in the world is an art director.
Yes.
You need to do this, move that foot, fix this.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's nice that you do a little studying about your breed so that you know what those things are that the judge is going to want to see.
Sure. But have fun doing it, because that's
have fun. That's right.
And that's what a real dog show is for you to have fun with your dog, to go and have an experience with your dog that maybe you own, you've bred, that sits on your couch at home, and actually go and do something with the family and your dogs. I think that's what the sport is all about.
We have 208 breeds and varieties that are eligible for our show. Anyway, we're going to have something up there for everybody to see, and people are going to be able to see the videos of all the dogs, of all of our entries. Eventually we'll get them posted, and you'll be able to go through them and see what's fun. And I encourage people, and I think most of our judges have said the same thing you just did, have it be fun for you.
Yes.
Your dog does something funny, leave it in the video. Give us something to chuckle about, give something for people to cheer about.
Well, as a judge, I would like to see the dog's personality, in the video, because I think if you watch Tara's video, her tips video, there's a little Havanese in there that's like barking and having a good time, when it's going back and forth. And that's the Havanese personality, so it gives you an idea of what the personality is on the dog.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I hope people look at it in that way. What, you're going to judge 7 dogs. First of all, what breeds are you judging? You're judging Maltese.
Yes, I'm judging Maltese, which is a breed that I bred. I'm judging Shiba Inu, which is a breed that I bred. And then I'm judging Bichon Frise, which is also a breed that I love and very similar to Maltese. So, we're really going to have a good time judging those breeds. Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the biggest panel you've ever been on, probably.
133 judges. I don't think anybody can afford to bring in 133 judges for their regular dog shows. I work on the Dallas dog shows, and our judges that we bring in are always fun to work with. And there are only a certain number of judges that you can actually bring in to an all-breed show. But it's really fun that there are over 133 judges on this panel, a lot of them breed experts, which I'm really happy to see.
I think that's great. There are a lot of people that are judging their own particular breed, or a breed that they're well known for handling, and that they know and understand quite well.
I'm looking forward to seeing those 7 beautiful dogs that I end up with for Best in Show, because these judges I highly respect all of these judges. So it's really going to be fun to see what I end up with for those 7 dogs for Best in Show.
We talk about it in the dog show world. We talk about judging from outside the ring.
Yes.
This is almost what's going on here, in a sense, although you're going to get the benefit of knowing what you're looking at, probably a little better than most people who are walking around outside the ring. You'll know the details to look for and things like that. But that's going to make it fun for everybody.
It will, but however, all of us that judge still judge outside the ring. When we sit outside a ring. And
why did she pick that one? I like the other one, right?
Exactly. But you haven't been close enough to actually see the bite. Here you're going to actually be close enough to see the bite, which is very important on some breeds. So maybe there was something in that bite the judge didn't care for, and you're sitting 30 yards away and outside the ring, you don't know what that looked like. So at least here we will be up close seeing things that we wouldn't be if we were outside the ring. So
yeah, I think that's fun. And as I doing television and having everybody come up to me after the dog shows on television and say, how come my golden didn't win? Or not their golden, the golden they fell in love with when they were watching the television. And I said, geez, I don't know, I like that one too, but I didn't put my hands on it. Right. And I think this is going to be a great illustration of what our sport is about to so many people.
Well, and so many people ask me when I'm at a dog show and they're just visiting, how do you make a decision? how do you choose between all of those dogs that look so cute or look so pretty or whatever? And it really gives you a good opportunity to explain to those people about the American Kennel Club standards and how each one of those standards has a lot of details in it about what those dogs are to look like and what they are to act like. So that all goes into a decision making that maybe you didn't know if you didn't have the guidance map like we have of the standard to know what we're looking for. So while that dog may look fantastic, and they say, how can you judge 7 dogs that are all of different breeds against each other? Well, you're not really judging them all against each other. You're judging them against their standard, and to see how closely they match their standard, which includes a dog show on the day as far as how they act and whether they act like they are glad to be there or not glad to be there, so it is fun.
Yeah, give me a quick a definition of what the standard actually is for each breed.
Standard is a blueprint to me of
So
what
written,
that dog is supposed to look like from the tip of its nose to the end of its tail. It tells you what the breed character is supposed to be, what the silhouette is supposed to be, how big or little that dog is supposed to be, the head and the expression, what that's supposed to be, the movement, and the coat. So when you put all of those things together, then you basically come up with the perfect dog for that standard. Well, there's no perfect dog for the standard. Every one of them is going to have a fault somewhere. It just depends on what is most important in that breed as far as what the priorities are. So
tell us about judging best in show. You've got to know 207 different standards when you're getting in preparation for whoever those final 7 are.
You really do. But like for me, and I'm sure for many, many judges, the night before they judge a particular type show and they know what breeds they're going to judge, you do definitely, because you judge a lot of breeds, you're going to review those standards to make sure that you're aware of any changes in that standard recently, or just a review. When you're judging best in show, you have an idea of what's winning the group, the breed, not necessarily the specific dog, but that breed. So because you know what that breed is, you have a chance to just briefly review that standard, even though you've seen over 40 years quite a number of really beautiful dogs in that breed. You want to at least review what the standard says about each one of those breeds. So, we all need to review because there are, like you said, a couple of hundred. So we can't keep that all memorized, every single word of every single standard. So we need to brush up on what that is to make sure we're judging correctly for those breeds.
Yeah, just a quick note. Now, we've touched on it a lot, and I think anybody who's watching us this far into it knows why we're here. And it's because all the dog shows have been canceled because of the pandemic and because of all the rules about gatherings and social distancing and things. And that's what we're trying to accomplish here with this virtual dog show, and with help from the American Heart Association as our partner, and being able to do things for the Canine Health Foundation. That's what brought us this dog show. And through the great graces of the Lone Star Classic, which is this series of dog shows that's normally in Dallas in the early part of July.
Right. Unfortunately, we had to cancel. Yeah, we unfortunately had to cancel our dog shows, and that was because of state and local and county requirements in our area during this pandemic. So that's why a lot of the dog shows have had to be canceled, because of the amount of people they will allow in a building at one time, or other restrictions that they've had. So we were very sad to have to do that. But then when the American Heart Association decided to have this virtual dog show, we were extremely happy to be able to help sponsor this. It's not instead of our dog show, but it's in addition to what would have been our dog show. We have actually 2 dog shows a year. We have our 2 clusters a year. We have one on the 4th of July weekend, and we have another one the first weekend in December. So we're looking forward to our December show and hoping that things will all be great, and we'll be able to have that when that comes around in December.
Let's hope so. And we've got a lot of great support for doing our virtual dog shows. People who are involved in the sport year round, people like the Canine Chronicle, Tom Gravy at the Canine Chronicle. So we thank all of them. We thank you. We thank all the wonderful people who are giving their time for this great cause for the American Heart Association and the Canine Health Foundation. And we're looking forward to having a great time. It's great to have you on the panel. You're the perfect person to be leading the panel as the best in show judge.
Well, I thank you very much, David. It was nice to talk to you today.
Thanks, Vicki. We'll see you soon, so to speak.
Yes, hopefully sooner than later.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Be well.